Out of all the players who made big plays, impact plays for the Baltimore Ravens offense on Sunday, clearly the most exciting, the one that probably got the most people to jump out of their seats at home and in the stadium was rookie running back Keaton Mitchell. There's a lot to be said about his impact, his speed, his burst to and then through the line. It's not like we haven't had big plays by other running backs this year. Gus had an 80-yard catch against the Lions. Two others kind of got ruined. You had the 55-yard screen against the Browns to Justice Hill that got called back for a penalty. And then Kenyon Drake's like 32-yard gain or whatever against the Colts on a screen was also ruined when he fumbled. It was forced by Julius Brents. But this was special. This was different. This was the reason why I think this wasn't a screen. This wasn't on screens. It wasn't an impromptu play by Lamar who flips it out there and a catch and run by Gus, even though Gus hit, over 20 miles per hour. These were direct flow run plays. This is a total game changer in terms of the speed to the hole and then the burst through it. And one of the runs you're going to see, his first touchdown run, or his only touchdown run, his 40-yard touchdown run, the linebackers are apexed. You're not going to be able to do that with Keaton Mitchell potentially to run to the backside of a formation. Hopefully I'll explain it well when we get to that point. The first time he touched the ball, I think it was an 11-yard run in the second quarter. I thought it was Justice Hill. And even as the play was finishing, I was like, what was that? It was like some burst there that was different. Just a different level of speed, a different level of acceleration, if you will. But that's not the first play he was involved in, interestingly. He's actually on kickoff, and I want to show one of them. Most people don't talk about special teams, and I don't talk about it enough on this channel, to be honest with you. I wish I broke down more of it. He's the one on this kickoff. He's up here. And by the way, we have Brandon Stevens on this kickoff team. We have Daryl Worley. That's two guys that are, well, Brandon Stevens clearly a starter on defense. Malik Harrison's on his kickoff team. Trenton Simpson. We've got some good football players on this team. You can see Keaton Mitchell folds in here. Kevon Seymour gets hurt on the play. Folds in. He gets credit for the tackle here. I'm not sure that he's the first guy to make contact. I think it's Seymour who plays with just like such reckless abandon that, he ends up getting himself hurt. But what I like is he avoids to the football. So the ball's over here. You don't want to avoid this way and then have someone else next to you avoid to the ball, and then you open up a lane between you. So everybody's got to avoid to the ball, so there's consistency. And lanes are filled, all lanes, just like all gaps on defense. And he's fighting, he's giving complete effort. And this is a guy who ended up running for 138 rushing yards on his first 9 carries. So let's look at the first carry. This is second quarter, I believe. About the 13-minute mark of the second quarter. He's in at tailback, running back next to Lamar. Obviously, don't need a spot shadow him. Goes down as an 11-yard gain on a draw. Zeitler gets up to Bobby Wagner. Jamal Adams comes in and tries to strip him. You're going to look at the guys that are around him, the guys he either outruns or breaks tackles of in this game, and probably be more impressed than you were on Sunday. Zeitler gets up to Bobby Wagner, like I said. We're not winning down here with OBJ. Adams gets in, tries to strip the football. Keaton Mitchell runs through that contact, and then the contact of a second guy, which I think is Wagner. And then finally, I think 56, Brooks, the other linebacker, finishes him off. I mean, his 40-yard run was amazing. His 60-yard run might have even been better. This is inside, through contact of multiple really high-level football players. And if it wasn't for the third guy there, he might outrun Quandre Diggs to the far side of the field. And I don't think that's a stretch at all. Second touch is a 9-yard run, same possession, I believe. Actually, this is next possession. My apologies. This looks like an option read where we're pulling the tackle. This is evil and brilliant. The tight end and the running back, Mitchell, is on the same side. We're going to pull Makari, so basically a tackle log. He's going to pull up to the boundary side, inside linebacker. You got Adams to the boundary rolled up. Love to the boundary rolled up. And I think that's Diggs back there at middle of the field, free safety. Looks like Lamar's reading 52. Mitchell bursts it, and it's through the hole. The burst, not just from getting the ball to the line of scrimmage, but from right about here. The speed through there is different. No disrespect to Gus Edwards, Justice Hill, J.K. Dobbins. The speed is just different through the hole. I really love this play. This is same possession. It's a 2nd and 1 from the 49. I think about 6 minutes left in the second quarter. Here's why I like it. You got trips closed. If you watch my videos long enough, you know what I've been saying. This is counter to this side. That's the backfield flow or backfield path. Or it's outside zone stretch to this side. That's all it is so far. Not yesterday, not Sunday. Motion them across, and we're running counter back the other way. So I love it. Still very run heavy here, but we're pulling. It's F counter, essentially. We're pulling Ricard. I think it goes down as an 8-yard gain for Keaton Mitchell. Pulling Ricard and Zeitler, they both end up kicking out. So inside leverage, kick out. Inside leverage, kick out to the second guy that shows up, which I think is Brooks, but I could be wrong. And you can see a nice job. And then the burst through here, from here on out. And Kolar did a nice job on Sunday, I thought. Blocking was way better than people give him credit for. Really nice way of developing him, getting him involved. He's comboing the front side D tackle up to Wagner, and he doesn't necessarily finish. There's a couple times he doesn't really like finish Wagner off. Wagner's bigger and stronger than him, but gets enough of a piece of him that Mitchell can squirt through the hole for an 8-yard gain. Same drive, 2nd and 7. Basically similar formation. End up in a trip set to the right with the back over there. Mitchell on the same side as Ricard, so we bring Aguilar across. Earlier in the game, we had run Aguilar out to the strong safety force defender. Arc released Ricard up to the inside linebacker. Lamar kept it and ran for 10 yards to the boundary. Now same setup. Post motion. Read man stands still. Give to Mitchell. 8 yards. Again, it's the speed through the hill that I think is remarkable. That's just different. It's a different element that he brings. I mean, it's kind of going to sound kind of crazy. Almost like the same element that Zay Flowers brings with his acceleration compared to some of our other guys. This is the drive that Gus finishes off. 1st and goal from the 3. Second touchdown run of the game. Puts us up 14-0. And then the fun begins in the second half. Well, I don't know. It actually didn't begin until he had 2 negative yardage plays on the second drive out of the third quarter gate. Really poor job by Simpson with his D tackle. Stepping outside, leaning over, leaning forward, looking at the ground. D tackle beats him, and then Brooks finishes it off. 4-yard loss. Very next play, Keaton Mitchell in the backfield going to run a screen to the downside. Can't get out to Adams. Whether it's Simpson's fault for being a little slow. I do think he's slow getting out of here, but nice job by Adams. But you can see if we get any piece of this dude here and knock him outside of the path that he's on right now, Keaton Mitchell has this football, and he might score. With the type of speed he has and the ability to make people miss, but Jamal Adams, free run. I do think Simpson's a little late there, but in any case, made up for it. Next possession, late third quarter, about 1:30 left, something like that. This is going to be a 5-yard run. Again, trips to the top side, motion Zay down. Same thing. Lamar opens to where the trips were, and as crazy as this sounds, I think this run is really impressive, even though it ends up only being a 5-yard gain, because it's the vision and the ability to cut back twice through the crowd. Ronnie Stanley's on top of a 4-eye. I think Kolar should have just let him go and move up to the next level and get a bigger piece of Wagner. Wagner's able to kind of disrupt it, but Kolar does a nice job of taking him down. You get the end zone angle so you can see what I'm talking about. Flowers going to motion right to left. The trips is to our right. Again, it's either been, outside zone to that side or counter option with the running back to the trip side. And now we're motioning across, running it back over there. So some good things to say about it and some bad things. Bad things would be motions just telling you where the ball's going. But in any case, Stanley is dumping down on that 4-eye. Kolar's job is to go on that path. Maybe the guy stems outside. Maybe the 4-eye steps to him. So you got to get a piece of him, help Ronnie out. As it is, the guys on the ground, like, move up, man. Move up quicker. I feel like he's got to be a half beat quicker to get up here to Wagner. The vision and the bounciness of Mitchell. It's not just the speed, but the bounciness through here. Get through this traffic and cut back underneath of, basically like a jump stop out and a jump stop back in. He's got a lot of ability. Really shifty, shaky, and then has the breakaway speed. as you see on the next play. What I love about this is you've got the apex inside linebacker, Wagner, and his speed to get back to this bottom side. Ball's in the middle of the field, so it's not really to the boundary. But ball will be on the hash most of the time in football, any level of football. Running him back into the boundary is going to really be another way that Todd Monken can manipulate and attack that boundary side safety in this case. And I thought Romo did a nice job of covering this. Adams is apparently worried about Lamar or something. I mean, your safety job, you don't have a gap. You don't have a gap the same way that linebackers do. We would always tell them you're C-gap responsible, whether you've got a tight end or not. And if there's a tight end there, maybe you're D-gap responsible to the field. If there's no force player, it's a poor job by Adams, number one. And then number two, I just don't think that Tyreek Woolen is playing with the same level of force that I saw last year. Seahawks fans, if you're watching this far, it doesn't mean that I don't think he's super talented. It's because I think he's super talented that I think he can play better. Boye Mafe doesn't really get a whole lot of Keaton Mitchell here. I don't think Ronnie Stanley does a good job on this play at all, but Keaton Mitchell's speed through the hole means that once Mafe goes to the top side, and what I mean by top side is he goes to the top side of Stanley, but because Keaton Mitchell gets through there so quick, Mafe isn't able to do anything. Again, I think it's a poor job by Ronnie Stanley. I'll have more to say about him later this week. I don't think we're getting anything near top-level play from Ronnie Stanley that we've become accustomed to, and even that we got last year once he returned in Week 5. Linderbaum doesn't really do much with the Mike linebacker 56 either. Look at what Jamal Adams has done. I mean, he's on the hash, and that's not where he lined up originally. He lined up outside the hash. Keaton Mitchell's just too fast. You can't do this. This element that he's going to bring, that he does bring to this offense, that's Tyreek Woolen. That's a 4-3 guy. He didn't have a chance to catch him. The field could have been another 100 yards longer. He's not catching him. We didn't have this prior to Sunday. We just didn't. Gus has been playing great, I think. 42-yard run to open the third quarter. 80-yard catch against the Lions. He's got 122 touchdowns this year. It seems like Justice Hill's played well other than the fumbles, I think, and some a couple of instances of low-quality pass pro, we'll put it that way. But this element, this is like having Zay Flowers back in the backfield. There's a couple things I really love about it. There's one thing I'd like to see us maybe do a little different, but look at the effort by Linderbaum. And, again, running through contact. That's Devin Witherspoon. And I think Julian Love was no, it's Trey Brown, the first guy to touch him. And in the middle of this play, I knew it was Witherspoon on the sideline that almost tackled him. What I do like about it is it's the pin-pull pitch. So Lamar's opening to the side. We're running the pitch to the boundary. We're pinning down with Likely on the edge player. Makari's pulling. And then also I like that we're pulling Linderbaum on this because he's so athletic. What I don't like about this is the split here I think needs to be about 3 yards wider. So I think the receiver's feet need to be about right here and Likely motion down, snap the ball right there. Similar to the motion that we used for Andrews on the pass play where he ran across the field on that little sail or soar motion. Hopefully I explained that in a way that makes sense. If you don't remember the play, my apologies. I probably should have included it in this part of the video. But I'd like to see that motion originate from a little wider, this receiver's feet out of the way, and then the pin occur. But I think maybe Monken wants it to be an under-control pin. We're not trying to hit a home run on this pin. We're just trying to hit a double, if that makes sense. Bateman is going up to get the front side inside backer because the tackle is going for the safety, Adams. And then Linderbaum is just a heat-seeking missile to go get whoever's ass he can kick in the middle of play. First is 56, but look, Trey Brown's got a shot on Mitchell, runs through it. It's going to sound kind of crazy. It kind of reminds me of Jamar Gibbs. I've watched so much Lions film, maybe that's the problem. But he's breaking tackles of guys who maybe are bigger, stronger, more higher-profile athletes in terms of size and strength. This is just what he's going to do. This is just what Keaton Mitchell's going to do. Right here, I thought, man, if he breaks a tackle of Devin Witherspoon and then runs away from Tyreek Woolen, what in the world do we have? And we'll entract him, which makes sense. Still ends up being a 60-yard run. It's 30-3 at this point, so it really doesn't matter from the context of the game. We know, though, that hey, if you get a chance to break a 65, 75-yard touchdown run, you want to finish it off. Great job of blocking, and like it's been talked about on Twitter already, Linderbaum, blocking the same guy twice and taking out a second player on his second block of Brooks is pretty amazing. Unfortunately, this is the kind of thing that NFL is going to fine people for these days. They are. I don't know if they're going to fine him for this particular play, but if he's another 2 yards behind Keaton Mitchell here and he dumps this dude into another guy and somebody gets hurt, they'll fine him at this point. It's ridiculous. It's not even football. Tyler Linderbaum is just playing football the way it's supposed to be played. This is the nature of the game, and well, I say it should be the nature of the game forever, but they're going to legislate it out of the NFL at some point. Beautiful run by Keaton Mitchell. The athletic ability and speed is obvious. Really doesn't need me to summarize it or evaluate it. You'd like to see us get him in the game for 10, 12 snaps, maybe 14, and have him not get the ball on the first 2 or 3. Essentially be used as a decoy, because after this performance, there's clearly going to be teams who look at it, and I don't know the numbers yet, guys, but it seems to me as if he was on the field for 15 plays, and he got 9 carries and a screen. There seemed to be a pretty high percentage of him being on the field Sunday and getting the football. And I might be wrong there. He might have played 20 snaps. And I guess I could have looked that up before the beginning of this video, but I'm giving you my honest assessment of what I thought I saw on Sunday in terms of he's on the field, he's getting the ball. I'd like to see us use that against the defense at some point. Maybe some of those fake screens to one side and then a middle throw to the tight end, or fake screen to one side, screen to the opposite side. But in any case, man, an unbelievable debut for Keaton Mitchell, whose father, Anthony Mitchell, played for the Ravens early 2000s. I think he was an undrafted guy as well, played for the Ravens for 2 or 3 years. Amazing story. Father and son both play for the same professional franchise, and now this guy shows up and looks like he's going to contribute for a long time to come. That speed is something you just can't teach. That burst through the hole from the -2 or -3, meaning 2 or 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. His burst through the hole to 4 or 5 yards past the line of scrimmage is just unlike anyone else we have other than Zay Flowers right now. Even Lamar's burst in that 6, 7, 8 yard stretch isn't the same as Keaton Mitchell's. He's the one guy we got that the moment he touches the football, he could take it to the house no matter where we are on the field. And I don't feel any shame in saying that I didn't know he was that explosive. Clearly you knew he was fast. But that once you see it for yourself on the field against starting caliber NFL defenders, there's no way to deny it at that point, man. Beautiful performance. I hope you were as excited as I was. I hollered at one point during the game, and my son downstairs was like, "Is everything okay, Daddy?" I was like, "Yeah, the Ravens are winning." So it was a lot of fun to watch. Appreciate you guys' time. If you enjoyed the video, please consider grabbing a link to this content, sharing it out on social media to help this video get more reach.